Okay, let's talk about ultra-wide panels. Now I am going to be reviewing the monitor, but I also do want to talk about the entire scope of ultra-wide monitors and the ultra-wide experience. Now this panel is the LG 29WK600-W. It's 29-inch, 2560 by 1080, 75Hz, IPS with HDR10 and FreeSync, and covers 99% of the sRGB color gamut. I'm going to be honest with you guys, the reason I got this panel was so that I could have Zoom on one of them and then a game or YouTube or something else on the other one. It is helpful though for streaming, so I can have my game on the bottom and monitor chat or monitor OBS on the top. Also for video editing, so I can have half of the stuff on the top, half of the stuff on the bottom, as well as games in general. So game on the bottom, Discord on top. Okay, my first impression of this monitor was basically, wow. I have so much screen real estate that I'm not normally used to. Now, obviously, this review would be a little different if this was my primary monitor or if this was the only monitor that I was using, but I have it as my secondary monitor and a dual monitor setup. However, I don't think the review would be that much different, especially considering one thing. Gaming. Now, gaming on an ultra-wide is tough. In most games, your mouse sensitivity is just going to get messed up. And in the case of something like Overwatch, which I play pretty frequently, the game just crops itself vertically, so you actually get a smaller view of the game than if you just used a regular monitor. I didn't find the experience to be terrible with FreeSync on, but just in general, I feel like gaming in it was just a disaster. It does look quite nice, so if you're looking to play something more casual like Minecraft or some sort of strategy game that doesn't require a lot of mouse aiming, then this might actually be a decent choice. And this is something that is true for gaming on pretty much any ultra-wide. If you're trying to play the game without any sort of weird stretch res or black bars, then you're pretty much out of luck, and this is probably a deal breaker. Now, the most common use case for ultra-wides is content creation, photo editing, video editing, CAD, drawing, etc. And a lot of monitor manufacturers will cater to that niche by putting features like IPS, HDR, good color accuracy into these panels compared to something like gaming, where you'll get high refresh rates, FreeSync and G-Sync, low latency. And so if you're looking for a content creation panel, ultra-wides have a lot of those features that you need already baked in, and often for a lower price than if you wanted to get them from something like a gaming monitor. Now, I actually prefer using a 16:9 monitor for Photoshop and Lightroom, but for something like Premiere or video editing in general, having an ultra-wide monitor is very nice because you can see more of the timeline, and that's helpful when you're trying to scrub through and you're trying to move things around. Now, in something like DaVinci Resolve, where the dual monitor mode works, you can have a dual monitor mode thing in DaVinci Resolve, but you can't actually move it around. It makes it a lot less useful because you can't, say, drag the timeline to the bottom or drag your video output to the bottom, so you have to keep it in the order that they already give you for the dual monitor preset. Now, apart from the coolness factor of having an ultra-wide, I found that the experience between the ultra-wide and my regular monitor hasn't been that much different for pretty much all tasks. In the end, they're both screens, and they both have their upsides and downsides. Now, if you're talking about a dual monitor setup or a setup with a very big screen, then ultra-wides actually have an advantage, because when you're trying to look at the entire screen, especially when you're looking up, down, it's very taxing on your neck to constantly be looking down and up and down and up. So an ultra-wide reduces the vertical space and increases the horizontal space, so you just look left to right instead, which is a lot less taxing than having to constantly look up and down. Okay, let's talk about the HDR on this panel. HDR is a very nice feature when done right, and this panel almost gets it right. With HDR on, you can see a lot more details, and colors in general just look nicer, but I feel like the HDR on this thing is a little excessive and extremely vibrant to the point where it actually kind of hurts my eyes when looking at photos and videos with warm colors. Other than that, I think this is a fantastic panel for content creation and just general things, watching YouTube, writing essays. And I've also found that I've been a lot more productive while I'm using an ultra-wide because I don't have to constantly switch between applications. I can just have one on the top and one on the bottom. Plus, I think it also makes my setup look nicer. Alright, that's it for this video. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below for more tech content. Follow me on Twitter at RealBrandonYen. See you guys next time.